Hi, this is Ken McCarthy, and we're celebrating the 20th anniversary of the System Seminar, a seminar that launched in 2002. And when it launched, it was based on 9 years of online marketing experience, including consultations with hundreds and conversations probably with thousands. If you had attended that historic seminar, as people like Perry Marshall did, Dave D and others, you would have been the first to learn about the idea of a squeeze page and how to use sequential autoresponders and why you should use A/B split testing in internet marketing. You would have also learned that long copy on the internet actually works just like it does in print. And that was just the first seminar. In seminars to follow, we introduced people to the idea of audio ads on the internet. We were the first. We were pioneers of video advertising on the internet. We even were supporters of the very first book on mobile marketing, the Mobile Marketing Handbook by System grad Kim Dushinsky, who was introduced to internet marketing by the System Seminar. All things lead to the System Seminar. That's just a fact when it comes to internet marketing. And we have a group called the System Club. And these are people who are graduates of the System Seminar. And when I stopped doing the big live events in 2011, I opened it up to all serious internet marketers who qualify. I've written a book or assembled a book, or somebody assembled the book for me. I wrote it. These are letters sent to my System Club members over the years. And they were assembled into a book called The System Club Letters by me. 57 big ideas to transform your business and your life, and I'm reading them one chapter at a time with sidebars. All right, today's chapter, the new publishing paradigm. And please remember, folks, all these things were written around 2005. So, you don't need to give a guru $25,000 to be part of their super advanced apprenticeship mentorship program, unless there's a good business reason for you to do that. You could just get this book and read it because all the stuff they're talking about in 2022, my students already knew way back in the early 2000s. So anyway, the new publishing paradigm. This is the second time I've used the word paradigm in 2 weeks, but hey, if the shoe fits, wear it. Publishing has gone through a radical revolution in the past 20 years. Not long ago, publishing meant going on bended knee to a New York publishing house and begging them to put your book in print. In the 1980s, desktop publishing liberated self-publishers from the need for expensive typesetting, and self-publishing, always a quiet, steady rumble in the background, turned into a roaring movement. Just a decade later, the internet came along and solved another obstacle to self-publishing, distribution, and hundreds of millions of web pages and countless ebooks were born. Just a sidebar, it's kind of amazing. There was no such thing as desktop publishing until the 1980s. Right? It basically started with the Macintosh, which came out in 1984, and their great laser printer. Oh man, was that a great laser printer? Those of you that had it, I loved that thing. It was like a battleship. Talk about overbuilt in a good way, right? So we had that innovation in 1984, and just 10 years later, we had the World Wide Web appear. Wow. I'm kind of in awe of the fact that history unfolded that way. Anyway, let's get back to the book. Now what? Now what do we do, right? We got all these books out there. In a word, glut. You see it on the internet. You see it in one of thousands of supersized bookstores that have cropped up in the last decade. You even see it on newsstands. System Club member and book publicity expert Kim Dushinsky tells me that almost 2,000 new book titles come out each year, and that number is only bigger now. For the person who has a point of view that he or she wants to share with the world, it has never been more important to master the art of direct marketing. Direct marketing, of which internet marketing is a subcategory, can be simplified down to two activities: attracting customers and harvesting customer value. That's it. There really is no more to it. But of course, the devil is in the details. In the old world of publishing, all the focus was on selling the book. After all, isn't that what the publishing business is all about? Being a published author, having a bestseller, isn't that the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? With 200,000 new books coming out a year, the answer is a resounding no. Information services, lifelong customers, and true wealth. The world's smartest publishing companies, and there aren't that many of them, are starting to figure out that the book, or ebook, is only the beginning of the story, that the real prize is a relationship with the book buyer. Relationship means repeat sales, and repeat sales mean higher profits, much higher profits. What does it cost you to find and convert a new customer? Compare with that what it costs to sell to an existing customer. Now imagine a stream of future purchases from a single buyer. One happy customer can easily be worth 5 or 10 new buyers in terms of bottom line profit. In fact, that's a gross understatement. A happy, and I have this in my own customer database. I have customers that are worth $1,000 to purchase, 1,000 times the cost of a book. Yes, and I know a lot of people who run their businesses correctly. They can show you similar statistics. Now imagine all the high-end services that can be sold to book buyers: coaching, consulting, home study courses, workshops, memberships, certifications, equipment, travel packages. I call all these things information services. Now, a single buyer can be worth 100 or even 1,000 book buyers. The solution is in the problem. The problem of 200,000 book. I'm going to start over again. And by the way, this is free, so you don't get any editing. The problem of 200,000 new books each year is not just a problem for publishers. It's a problem for info seekers as well. The reality of having an excessive number of choices is that it's stressful. And we live in a society of total choice overload. Cell phone plans, cable TV packages, investment options. It seems like every time we enter into the simplest of transactions, we're faced with the need to have a PhD in the subject before we can make a move. And that's where you come in. There is a great deal of money to be made in being the shining light, the beacon of info that seekers trust. The one who lets them shut out all the noise so they can make their decision with as little pain as possible and get on with their lives. Build your info business around being that person, and the money will flow. 2005. Predicting the model that everybody's using today, that every intelligent person's using today. You know, I thought of this when I did my first seminar, which was 1994, because the system didn't start till 2002. The first seminar was 1994, and yes, it was the first seminar/conference ever in the history of mankind on the subject of how to make money on the web. No one had ever done that before. The first one was in San Francisco, November 5th, 1994. And I spoke, and Mark Andreessen, the fellow that popularized the web browser, spoke. He was 23 years old at the time. And we had a lot of people that went on to do huge things, including the first person to sell banner ads in a big way. But anyway, and luckily I recorded everything, so this is not up for historical debate of who was first. We were bragging that there were 1 million people on the web. Wow, 1 million people, that's a lot. Well, there's over 3 billion people now, so the market is literally 3,000 times larger. And believe it or not, in 1994, there were certain things we couldn't do, like take money over the internet. That was a development that came a little bit later. So when we started, there were only 1 million people on the internet total globally. The internet was pretty unsophisticated, no video, no audio, slow bandwidth, and we couldn't take money. So now we have 3,000 times as many people. The internet, which was then a kind of an odd duck, is now the central hub for everybody's life, for better or evil. And we've got selling tools that in 1994 you couldn't even dream of. So there are now hundreds, I guess it's millions, but certainly hundreds of thousands of people, maybe I guess it's millions, of people making good livings, sometimes great livings, selling information on the internet. So there's more people doing that for a living than there were on the total internet back in 1994. And I'm not going to be falsely modest here. We pioneered the way. Everything that people are doing now, including online education. I know this, it never even dawned on me to realize that I was a pioneer of that field. There was no online education when we were doing it in the 1990s. And we didn't think we were doing anything special. But now this is a big business, obviously. It's a specialty for many people. You can sign up for multi-thousands of dollar courses on how to do it. And there might be some good teachers out there in the subject. But we were one of the pioneers of that as well. And when I say we, it wasn't just me. You know, there were great, brilliant people. Jonathan Meisel, who's still around. The late, great Corey Rudel, who was really the greatest of all. You know, I wish he was still around to see what's happening. I mean, he would probably be ruling the world at this point if he had lived, you know. And then there were some others. There weren't a lot of us. I mean, we could have all fit around a small dining room table. Globally, that would have been the entire global population of people that were doing what we were doing back then in the 90s. But so it wasn't just me, but I was the person that organized it all and put on the system seminar. And because there was a feeling among some of the guys that maybe, Ken, you shouldn't be sharing this stuff with people. It's a little bit too good. And my thought was, it's too good not to share. And I also had the feeling this industry is going to be so huge that no single group of people could possibly handle all the opportunities that are going to be out there. And that turned out to be true. So if you're looking for a good book to read, good book to own, good book to have, a good book to study, System Club Letters, you can just click on the icon and get it. I'll see you next time.